we kind of want to give our outlook for the remainder of the season. Next up is the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix this Sunday. The current point standings, Marcus Ericsson is now the points leader. Indy is a double points race. Pato O'Ward is 13 points back. Alex Palou is 14 points back in third. Will Power, who went into the race with the points lead, is at minus 24 in fourth. Joseph Newgarden is fifth, minus 52. Scott Dixon, you gave me that funny shaking your head look when I said Dixon might be in sixth when, there's a chance. Because when I said Dixon needed to have a good month of May, I was like, there's a chance he could still be sixth. And you kind of were like, Craig, you're at it again with your crazy takes. But here he is, sixth, minus 60. And then Scott McLaughlin, who at one point won the first race of the year and was in the points lead, is now in seventh at minus 4. So, biggest story. We want to look at the biggest storylines, as we leave Indianapolis. Mine is going to be, and I thought of a mean one, kind of, but I don't want to be too mean to Penske, but I'm going to bring it up in this discussion because I did say the biggest storyline going into the 500 was that Penske had struggled, and that's still happening.
Ooh, yeah.
But I think the main one I want to look at is, can Ericsson maintain his points lead and momentum? Because it seems like, now granted, this is maybe the most momentum any driver will have all season in terms of winning the greatest spectacle in racing. But at the same time, the points have been topsy-turvy all season. Mentioned Penske. Scott McLaughlin had the points lead after the first 2 weeks, had a win. Newgarden took over, the points lead after his win at Long Beach, which was his second straight at the time. And just what a dud of a month for Penske, man. And we talked about how great they are at Indy. And obviously, that doesn't, hey, when you win like 20% or 20% of the Indy 500s, right? You can have an off month once in a while, but you have McLaughlin crashes, Newgarden finishes 13th, wasn't really a factor. His worst finish in the 500 as a Penske driver. No Penske driver was really a factor at all in either race.
13th is his worst finish.
Yeah, he was 12th last year. But,
that's still not bad.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if your worst finish is 13th,
yeah, that's what I'm saying is that by Penske standards, just not very good.
Right, by Penske standards. But when you think about it, considering Joseph Newgarden's kind of just seems to have been a non-factor most of the time in the 500,
I forget
for his worst finish to be 13th. That's not that bad.
Oh no, not at all. I was trying to remember the team because I didn't even think about this. He was with a team before Penske. He was with like Sarah Fisher.
Ed Carpenter. He was with Ed Carpenter.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Alex Palou had the points lead going into Indianapolis. Will Power had the points lead after the GMR Grand Prix. Ericsson is now the fifth driver in 5 races to have the points lead this season. Can he hang on through Detroit, where he won last year, and maintain his momentum? That's the biggest question because, if you think about it, I know I probably said this about Pato O'Ward as well coming into the month in the sense that, you come into the month of May, you go off a win. But when you just won the greatest spectacle in racing, you had a good month overall. You're going to a track where you won your first career race in IndyCar last season on the Detroit, at Belle Isle. This may be the most momentum that because I don't think we really fully considered Marcus Ericsson as a championship contender, even though he's literally driving for the team that has won
the last two.
Has won the last two with Dixon and Palou. So. But you thought those were going to be the two drivers kind of in his way of doing so. And instead, like I said, he's got maybe the most momentum he's had, to do that and be in contention all season and all career. So I'm just interested to see what Ericsson can do with this newfound momentum going into Detroit.
Yeah. So outside of the obvious Penske, can they turn the season back around? For me, it's Arrow McLaren. Can they keep up and get over the hump and win the championship? They are flying high right now. Their best ever finish at the Indy 500 was second with Pato O'Ward. Pato O'Ward just signed a huge extension. And, the worst kept secret at IndyCar, most likely, of the signing of Alexander Rossi to Arrow McLaren next season. And also Arrow, that's not official, but it's the worst kept secret. When it's reported Alexander Rossi has signed a new deal.
No, but both.
We just can't tell you he's not allowed to say which team it is. Well, we can rule Andretti out, that's for sure. because, well, if it was re-signing with Andretti, they can announce that.
Right.
And then also Arrow McLaren is just announced they are opening up a brand new, beautiful, state-of-the-art race shop in the beautiful Whitestown, Indiana. So lots of things looking up for Arrow McLaren. Can they take that publicity, that momentum? They're flying high. Pato O'Ward is really on it. Can they carry that over to the rest of the season? And can Pato O'Ward pick up a couple more victories? I think he can, and win his first IndyCar title and put McLaren back on top of the racing world.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because we also put in here who's a driver to watch the rest of the way. And my driver to watch going forward is Pato O'Ward. He won at Barber to kick off May. He was fast all month at Indy. He started fifth and was leading late at the GMR Grand Prix before needing to pit. He also had like a little bit of a minor incident with Felix Rosenqvist on track. He was on the podium at both Detroit races last season, including a win at one of them. They go back to the IMS road course later this season. He's been sneaky solid on ovals too throughout his career. Where they have 3 more races on the season, 2 at Iowa and 1 at.
And he's won at Iowa.
Gateway, yeah.
He was pretty dominant one time at Iowa. So.
And he was fired up too after not getting the win. Like, obviously you're going to be when you're that close, but I think he also, that gives him another little bit of an extra push and a little bit more drive heading into the rest of the season, where I think he is in great contention, especially when we're like, Award was up there last year too, and we're kind of like,
he finished 4th last year, right?
In points, I thought he was second.
No, at the 500. I'm lying.
4th, I think, at the 500. In points, I think he was second, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So I was like, in a situation where we're like, yeah, Marcus Ericsson, we're not sure how much longer you'll be up there. Great job at the 500. I think Pato O'Ward's a driver that, like, going the rest of the season is one to watch for, as far as, driver to potentially be, like you said, get that championship for McLaren.
So, I mean, I've already kind of said Pato, but I'm going to go in a different direction of a driver to watch going forward, not because I feel like he's going to be up there in the championship contention, but I just want to see how he can capitalize off after the month that he had, which was an outstanding month. And that driver is Conor Daly. Look, Conor Daly finished 4th at the Grand Prix and finished 5th at the Grand Prix and finished 6th at the Indy 500. Both of them were career high finishes for both of those races. So can he carry this momentum that he's got going? Because he does have true strong momentum right now, and carry that into Belle Isle. Look, one of Conor Daly's best races when he was kind of racing part-time, he had a really good run a couple of years back at Belle Isle when they ran a doubleheader there. Almost won. I believe that was when he was with, I think it was like a one-off with our part-time with Dale Coyne, I think. So that's a driver to really watch. Can he keep this momentum going? It's always been he's a young driver. Look, he's 30 now. It's time to show that you deserve to be in this, full-time ride going forward.
I like that. Yeah, he did. I mean, you said going into the month that Conor Daly needs to have a good month, and he did, and has really capitalized on it and been really good. And so finally, that brings us to who we think is going to win this weekend. Who wins the Detroit Grand Prix? And I know we've kind of been down on Scott Dixon throughout the course of this podcast. Not too bad, but just in the sense of we're bummed that he didn't. Can't seem to get that second 500. I think he does get the win this weekend. I'm picking him to win at Detroit. He typically runs well there. He's got the most wins there since Detroit returned to the schedule in 2012. The last time it was a single race weekend, he won. It's been a doubleheader since 2013. So, which also on that note, Ganassi has won at least one race at Detroit the last 3 seasons. The race has been run, not run in. So 2018, 2019, and 2021, a Ganassi driver has won at least one of the races at Detroit. Now, granted, it was a doubleheader. If you gave me 2 races to pick, I would say Dixon would win one of them. Only has one shot this weekend at Detroit, but at some point, this winless streak, the longest in his career has to end at some point, and I think it happens at Detroit. I mean, we saw it last year. I remember, my championship pick was Joseph Newgarden last year. He came out of Indy 6th in the point standings, but really shot up through the field the rest of the way, had a very good second half, and I think the same can happen for Scott Dixon.
So I'm actually going to go with Pato O'Ward, because I think that fire that's burning inside him right now from being so close to winning the 500 helps him and propels him right now. And like I said, momentum's on his side as well. Things are really looking good for him. He just needs to carry that into this weekend and use that fire to push himself to win, because he needs to get another win if he's going to be seriously in championship contention.